Thank you very much for being here. New Democrats are committed to changing the culture of politics in Ottawa and across the country to end the harassment and discrimination that silences women and protects or condones the behavior of those who use their positions of power, whether they recognize it or not, to hurt others. We know that this is not a partisan issue and that we are responsible for creating change. Male politicians have a special responsibility to reflect on how they interact within this environment and with others. In regards to Mr. Erin Weir, the independent investigator found 1 claim of harassment and 3 claims of sexual harassment were sustained by the evidence. In regards to the sustained claims of sexual harassment, which the investigator defined as acts of a sexual nature, quote, that might reasonably be expected to cause offense, end quote, it was found that Mr. Weir failed to read nonverbal cues in social settings, and that his behavior resulted in significant negative impact to the complainants. The report found that when Mr. Weir was told his advances were unwanted, he stopped. Based on the investigator's findings, I considered various corrective resolutions, including conciliation. Such a rehabilitative approach would require Mr. Weir to take full responsibility for his actions, as well as commit to successful completion of training designed to ensure that such behavior would not reoccur. In conversations with Mr. Weir, I was led to believe he was prepared to be accountable for his behavior. However, recent developments demonstrate Mr. Weir is unwilling to take appropriate responsibility for his actions, and therefore any rehabilitative approach is now untenable. Last night, I informed Mr. Weir of my decision to remove him from caucus effective immediately. As leader of the NDP, my primary responsibility is to ensure that the behavior at the root of these incidents is addressed and that it never happens again, and to make every effort to meet the needs of those who are impacted by these actions. Without being able to attain such assurances, I cannot in good conscience allow Mr. Weir to remain a member of the NDP caucus. I'm confident that in this situation we have responded appropriately and fairly to the claims brought forward, and that Mr. Weir was provided with the opportunity to accept the findings of the report and take responsibility for his actions. The NDP has begun a comprehensive review of our policies on harassment in concert with all aspects of our organization. This is important work and a top priority for me personally. We need to hold individuals accountable for their behavior, but at the same time, we need to ensure that we are doing everything possible to build a workplace where people can come forward feeling supported by a protected and uncompromised process that does not contribute to further harm to the complainant. Above all, we need to create safe workspaces for everyone. Those are my values. Those are New Democrat values. Those are Canadian values. Les néo-démocrates sont déterminés à changer la culture politique à Ottawa et partout au pays, à mettre fin au harcèlement et la discrimination qui réduit les femmes au silence et qui protège ou approuve le comportement de ceux qui utilisent leur position de pouvoir, qu'ils reconnaissent ou non, pour causer de tort aux autres. Nous savons qu'il n'agit pas d'un enjeu partisan et que nous sommes tous et toutes responsables de créer ce changement. Les politiciens de sexe masculin ont la responsabilité particulière de réfléchir à la façon dont ils interagissent avec leur environnement et avec les personnes qui les entourent. En ce qui concerne M. Weir, l'enquêteuse indépendante a découvert qu'une allégation de harcèlement et 3 allégations de harcèlement sexuel étaient soutenues par des preuves. Pour ce qui est des allégations fondées de harcèlement sexuel que l'enquêteuse a définies comme des gestes de nature sexuelle dont on pourrait raisonnablement s'attendre à ce qu'ils causent des préjudices, Il a été déterminé que M. Weir n'avait pas su lire les signaux non-verbaux dans des situations sociales et que son comportement avait entraîné des conséquences néfastes considérables pour les personnes ayant formulé des plaintes. Le rapport montre que lorsqu'il s'est fait dire que ces avances n'étaient pas désirées, M. Weir s'est arrêté. En me fondant sur des constats de l'enquêteuse, j'ai envisagé diverses mesures correctrices, y compris la conciliation. Une telle approche de réhabilitation demanderait à M. Weir d'assurer la pleine responsabilité de ses actions et de s'engager à compléter avec succès une formation visant à assurer que tel comportement ne se produirait plus. Lors des conversations avec M. Weir, j'ai été amené à croire qu'il était prêt à prendre la responsabilité pour ses gestes. Toutefois, des développements récents montrent que M. Weir n'est pas disposé à assurer la responsabilité de façon appropriée pour ses gestes, et ainsi que toute approche de réhabilitation est maintenant impossible. Hier soir, j'ai informé M. Weir de ma décision de l'exclure du Caucus, et ce, immédiatement. En tant que chef du NPD, ma responsabilité première est de m'assurer que le comportement à la base de ces incidents est abordé, que cela ne se reproduise plus jamais, et de faire tous les efforts possibles pour répondre aux besoins des personnes ayant subi les conséquences de ces gestes. Dans l'impossibilité d'obtenir de telles garanties, je ne peux pas en bonne conscience permettre à M. Weir de demeurer membre du Caucus du NPD. J'ai confiance que dans cette situation, nous avons réagi de manière appropriée et équitable aux allégations formulées, et que M. Weir a eu l'occasion d'accepter les constats du rapport et d'assumer la responsabilité de ses gestes. Le NPD a entamé un examen exhaustif de ses politiques pour le harcèlement, de concert avec tous les aspects de son organisation. C'est un travail important et une grande priorité pour moi personnellement. Nous devons tenir les personnes responsables de leur comportement, mais nous devons aussi nous assurer que nous faisons tout ce qui est en notre pouvoir pour bâtir un milieu de travail où les gens peuvent se manifester en se sentant soutenus par un processus protégé et rigoureux qui ne cause pas davantage de tort aux personnes qui formulent des plaintes. Surtout, nous devons créer un milieu de travail sécuritaire pour tout le monde. Ce sont mes valeurs. Ce sont des valeurs néo-démocrates. Ce sont les valeurs canadiennes. Et je suis maintenant prêt pour les questions. I think it's very important to, first of all, explain that we cannot release any details that would in any way compromise confidentiality. But what I can say that they were, the evidence supported complaints that were in a context that was social, where Mr. Weir did not recognize nonverbal signs, and that had a significant impact on the complainants. But when he was made aware that his advances were unwanted, he immediately stopped.
Something he said or something he did? Did he grab someone? Did he say something? Can you be a little more explicit?
Those are the details that I have.
I'm sorry, but you said that he stopped when he was told these were unwarranted, but you said in light of recent events, you've decided to remove him from caucus. So what are you referring to there? Is it because he gave an interview?
What was clear that I wanted to consider a rehabilitative approach. The first step to assure that that is something tenable was to ensure that he accepted responsibility. What was clear yesterday was not prepared to accept responsibility, attacking someone that came forward with a complaint, creating a wider context. This is about conduct and inappropriate conduct, and the first step to a rehabilitative approach would have been to accept responsibility.
Qu'est-ce qu'il a dit qui l'a discrédité cette semaine, à vos yeux?
Exactly did he say that discredited
Hier,
him this week?
Yesterday, il a contesté les résultats de l'enquête. Il a attaqué d'une manière la personne qui a partagé la plainte. Aussi,
came forward with the complaint.
Il a dévoilé des détails
He
qui
also
peuvent
revealed
identifier
details that could
la personne qui
identify
ait partagé leur plainte.
the
Donc, à cause de
complainant.
ça,
So for that
je
reason,
ne peux pas avoir confiance
I
dans une
cannot be
voie de
confident
réhabilitation à
in
cause
his
de
ability to be
ses actions qui montrent que c'est clair
because of
qu'il
his
n'accepte pas
actions that show that he
responsabilité
clearly does
pour
not
ce
take
que
responsibility for his actions.
l'enquête a trouvé.
Repeat that in English.
Based on what's clear is a rehabilitative approach would require, first and foremost, accepting responsibility. Yesterday, in his actions, in his comments, Mr. Weir made it clear he did not accept responsibility for what the inquiry found to be a fact. He, in addition, attacked someone who had come forward with a complaint. He'd also released details which could identify the individual. All of this makes it clear that a rehabilitative approach is no longer possible, that his conduct sustained allegations that have been proven by the inquiry, coupled with a lack of being prepared to accept responsibility and the manner in which that was done, attacking the complainant, putting out details that could identify the complainant. This makes it no longer possible to move forward.
Why should we believe you?
He criticized that investigation, saying about the methodology, secondhand complaint to start it, and then afterwards looking for other complainants. In effect, whereas the NDP shopping for complainants, he's also saying that this is a way to prevent him from running again. Is there any validity to that?
Not at all. There was a serious allegation that was raised. We had a process that was fair to everyone involved, and fairness is an integral element of the process, and I ensured that this was a fair process. And there was a path forward, and by his actions, he made it clear that he's not prepared to accept responsibility, and I cannot, in good conscience, allow him to continue to be a member of the party.
Combien y avait-il de plaintes en tout? Combien ont été
How
jugées
many
fondées?
complaints were there and how many
Je
were
sais
considered
qu'il y
to be
avait
founded? Well, I
4
know that there
plaintes
were 4
en total qui
complaints
étaient fondées, et ça
total
c'est le détail
that
que je
were
sais.
founded.
Thank you very much.
Out of your 8
Thank you very much.
minutes,